Andre Petroski coming up this weekend at middleweight's going to look to make it 3 in a row against Gerald Meerschaert, and it starts this weekend. Petroski looking at his teammate B. Joe Pyfer, seeing that first round win at UFC 287, seeing that win at Fury Pro Grappling 7, where Pyfer was able to just grind out Meerschaert and stay on top, and now Petroski trying to give it that Sean Avery try, just looking for those sloppy seconds to get a win over Florida's own Gerald Meerschaert. Meerschaert, he said in an interview a month ago with friend of the show, Ryan Gerald, that he's made the move full-time. Seems like back in May, he made it down to Killcliff FC, training with former training partner Brendan Allen from their time at Rufus Sport, as well as all of the big-time bodies that are down there in South Florida at Henry Hoof's gym. So a big fight in this one, because for Gerald Meerschaert, he's got 51 pro fights to his name. He's been in the UFC since about 2016. He got that win over Joe Gigliotti, and then all of a sudden he was fighting in front of Matt and Craig Allen in Halifax. When he was
Ryan James.
Taking on Ryan James, the kind of the hometown guy in that fight. But if you look at it for a guy like Gerald Meerschaert, he is as established as anyone, and so far in his UFC tenure, Matt, there's only been a few fights that have gone to decision. So if you're watching a fight where Gerald Meerschaert is concerned, he's going to be around and finishes are going to happen. And I threw this out there on the weekend. Last weekend, you had Luque versus RDA, and I threw the tweet out and said, how many people go to a bar or a party with friends and they go, man, I'm such a Rafael dos Anjos fan? Nobody's ever heard that.
What are you, former champion?
Even though Dos Anjos is a former champ and he has the most octagon time accrued by any fighter in the UFC, I've never heard somebody go, man, I just love Rafael dos Anjos. He's my favorite fighter. The same thing can probably be said for Gerald Meerschaert, but I know we get excited about Meerschaert fights here.
I disagree with the RDA point. RDA's been in a lot of crazy fights, like the Tony Ferguson fight. He might not have won them all, but RDA's one of the more memorable fighters across two of the more popular weight classes. I get excited for Gerald Meerschaert fights, though, and I'm glad you brought up that fact, because Meerschaert is one of those kill or be killed fighters, and I think at this point in his career, everybody kind of realizes what his strengths and deficiencies are. Is he the fastest striker on the feet? No, he looks like he's moving through mud. He is not a fast striker, but he's an accurate one. He does have success on the feet. I'm not saying that to disparage his striking ability.
Watch his fight with Bruno Silva.
Even the fight against Duran wins another good one, too, because it's a fight that goes a little bit later. He's tired, but he starts landing those nice straight shots down the middle, and when he is able to start getting momentum with his striking, it's difficult to slow him down, because what's the last thing you want to do against Gerald Meerschaert? Shoot a double leg takedown on him where your head's in the wrong spot, because he is such a submission specialist and everybody in the world knows that. So Meerschaert is an interesting fighter, and he's a great litmus test, I think, for anybody in the division, because again, if you beat Meerschaert, I'm not saying you're ready for the rankings next, but you're probably going to have to show us a wrinkle of your game that we haven't seen up until that point. Now, the one thing I will say, which kind of goes back on the point I just made, is, has the damage just started to accrue too much? Is it gotten to the point to where, hey, once you hit him on the chin, he will go down, because he does have a number of stoppage losses, but in some of his fights, he can eat like an absurd amount of damage to where you're just wondering how he's still in it. So for Meerschaert, I'm really worried about, has he gone past that threshold now, to where if Petroski is able to land that one clean shot, we're not able to see Meerschaert recover and then look good after, because even though, let's go back a little ways, he lost to Thiago Santos by stoppage, but he ate some big clean shots before he ends up going down, and that's been the thing about Meerschaert. If you can hit him early and stop him, great, it's going to look good on your record, but if he is able to get past some of those initial hurdles, he's a really difficult fighter to deal with, even at 35, because his cardio hasn't fallen off even at this age.
And that's it with Gerald Meerschaert. You make the example right there. He loses to Khamzat Chimaev, but since that Chimaev lost, Bartosz Fabinski, he didn't listen to your directive. Shoot that shot on the outside, get your head clocked, and that's what happened. Meerschaert gets the win. The next fight out there, he takes on Mahmoud Muradov. Looks like he's going to finish Meerschaert in the first round, tires out. Meerschaert rallies in that fight. Then Meerschaert, and those were both performance bonuses for Meerschaert. He takes on Dustin Stoisfitz, kind of rallies as that one goes on. He loses against Christoph Jotko, and that was a little bit of one where you worried a bit, because Jotko was able to have successes in spots where you figured Meerschaert would succeed. He beats Silva, and that fight against Bruno Silva, I chalked that up as a one-off to Silva, but credit to Meerschaert for going out there, landing those finishing blows with his strikes to get the win in that fight. He ultimately submits him, but it was his strikes that carried him to the submission, and then a first-round loss to Pyfer. And when you look at a guy like Andre Petroski, he actually co-main evented against Rene Souza on that card, Fury Pro Grappling 7, where Meerschaert was taking on Piper. Petroski loses to Souza, a 10th Planet Bethlehem man. But when you go down through it and you look at it for Petroski, his dad was always his hero. He was a guy that wrestled at Penn State, was his father, Guy Petrovsky. Maybe it's Guy, but I don't think he's French-Canadian, so I'm going to assume it's Guy because he's an American. So Petrovsky goes to UNC. Like the real UNC, where Michael Jordan went. And he wrestles there. And then he wrestles on down through the levels. He went D1, D2, and then I think he went D3 after that. Petrovsky's found himself to be that wrestler, not in disguise. He shows up as the wrestler. There's no kind of forgetting about it. He loses a fight against Aaron Jeffrey with CFFC where he wins the first round with his grappling, and then he gets caught in a submission in the second round. The same exact thing happens on The Ultimate Fighter when he's taking on eventual season winner Brian Battle. He's winning with his wrestling, and then he gets caught in a submission after that. Petrovsky's one of those rare guys where he loses in the quarterfinals, but they still let him into the UFC anyway. He beats Ultimate Fighter alternate Michael Gilmore, out-wrestle him, does get hit by some big shots in the second round of that one. He beats 3-2 Hu Yao Zhang. That was a weird one. He beats Nick Maximov as a plus 285 underdog, wins in that one, and his last time out. Doesn't get the submission or a finish against Wellington Turman, but he also went 8 of 11 on takedown attempts and had 4 minutes and 32 seconds of control time just in the third round alone. So if you're fighting Andre Petroski, what is it? Well, he's a southpaw that throws a big sidewinder of a head kick. He throws big punches that completely put himself off balance. And we had a soundbite when Andre Petroski was to make his UFC debut against Gilmore from you, Matt. And you thought that Gerald Meerschaert would be his toughest test.
Exactly. Like, Petroski's worst nightmare is a guy like Gerald Meerschaert, because if he did move quite a bit more on the feet, then you would like him. I'm going to go back on what I said and completely negate the point that I tried to make in that video, but I stand by what I said. Again, what's the worst kind of game plan to have when you're fighting a guy like Gerald Meerschaert? Shoot for volume takedowns, because here's the thing. If you're somebody who can go, like, 2 for 3, not use a lot of your strength and all of your energy, just going for volume takedowns, you're not giving him a ton of opportunities to try to cinch up that neck on some of the in-betweens, and that's where Meerschaert really does shine. Sometimes he can get held down in spots, sometimes he will be in grappling sequences where, again, like you said, you think he's going to shine, and he might just look a little bit slow, but it's just because Meerschaert's really good at the in-between. So when you are scrambling, if you don't have him in a set position, that's when he will find your neck, find your arm, find your leg, and really make it a much more difficult fight. But that's why I really think it comes down to the age of Meerschaert and just how much he has left in the tank, because if this is Meerschaert from 4 or 5 years ago, to where he can eat some of those bigger shots and then bring the fight late and start to take advantage of those takedown attempts, then I do think Meerschaert is a perfect kind of fighter to take on someone like Petroski. But if Andre can just land 1 or 2 of those big shots and make Meerschaert fight like a different version of himself, then it will be completely different, and Petroski could go out there and get a finish. But that's why this is a weird fight. Petroski's probably not going to get the credit he should get, even if he does beat Meerschaert early, because I do think people realize, hey, Meerschaert, if you can hit him early, again, it's going to look good on your record if you have that early stoppage over him, but we're not going to learn a lot about Petroski if that's how the fight goes.
Meerschaert, again, 10-8 in the UFC, 3 of 18 fights have gone to a decision, and he has lost in decision spots before to Kevin Holland, Eric Anders, and Christoph Jocko. You look at the odds in this one, Petroski's about a 3-1 favorite or thereabouts. We have a look at the Topology vote. Surprise to us there to you. I'm going to say over under. I think it might be a little bit closer. I'm going to say over under 70% Petroski in this one.
I think it'll be over, but it'll be close to 70.
And yeah, so 870 total votes, 78% Petroski, 50% by decision, 30% by knockout. For the 22% that have Meerschaert, 71% by submission. So Matt, a big time fight between Petroski and Meerschaert. In this one, I do think Petrovsky is going to be able to get the win, but you look at the guys that Meerschaert trains with at Killcliff, and I mentioned a couple of the names. Brendan Allen's a perfect example. There was a guy that was training there to get a couple of guys that are on this card ready, and Chris Curtis recently. You also have Ian Machado Garry, as well as, in a next bout, Gregory Rodrigues trained there as well. So a lot of big bodies to get ready for this one for Meerschaert, to get him, seasoned for Petroski, but likewise, Bijo Pfeiffer, Sean Brady, and the like at Marquez MMA for Petrovsky.
Exactly. I want to pick GM3 so badly, but I just can't at this stage of his
channel
career.
favorite.
100%. It's just, Petrovsky, like you had mentioned, he is going to go for a lot of those takedowns, but he is a heavy-handed fighter. And the reason I bring up the Duran Win fight so much when I reference GM3 is because what does Duran Win do? I know he didn't reach the heights that Daniel Cormier wanted him to, but he's a very talented wrestler who goes for a lot of high-volume takedowns, and he throws looping wide shots in the feet. If I just bring up those facts, you'd probably think I'm talking about Andre Petroski. I just think Petrovsky, a little bit younger, has the heavier hands, and for that reason, I have him in this one.
Both of us going with Petrovsky to get the win. Let us know down below in the comment section who you have. Some big-time fights on this card, including another middleweight contest. Gregory Rodrigues taking on Denis Tiuliulin. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say. Let's get into it.